It's been a long time since I found a book that I felt to be legitimately page-turning, but I couldn't put Pachinko down, and I understand why everyone loved it when it was going around last year and the year before. Pachinko is a family story. It follows the same family over 4 generations, spanning almost 100 years, and it's all about their lives, their trials, their tribulations, the pain, the suffering, the joy, the hardship, poverty, wealth, everything, discrimination, just everything that this Korean family faces from 1911 to 1989. It is hard to read at points. It is lovely to read at points. I read the second half of this book in a day today whilst I was travelling around London for the day, and there are multiple times in multiple different locations in London where I was crying. I put my sunglasses on because I don't want anyone to see me crying on the train. But it's lovely, it's wonderful, in a sense that it hurts at points. It felt real when you don't think it will feel real. Some of the things that happen to these characters, you feel, oh, it's dramatic, it's over-dramatized. But when you think about it, over the course of nearly 100 years, over 4 generations of a family, actually, that's not surprising that these things would happen to this family and the people who live amongst them, especially in the setting. Set in Korea/Japan, over the course of the 20th century, with the family, without spoiling things, starting in Korea with our first of our protagonists to ending in Japan with the last of our protagonists. I would compare this to David Copperfield, which is actually rather quaint because one of our protagonists adores Charles Dickens, and I would say it's like David Copperfield, except you have multiple perspectives, you have multiple protagonists. You're not just following Sunja when she travels to Osaka with her husband. You don't just follow one of their sons, Moses. You also follow his son, Solomon. You also follow Solomon's great-grandmother, Yunjen. It's incredible, and you see all of these different people's perspectives. And it's kind of hard to get through some of it, in the sense that you get so attached to all of these characters, and I don't know why I didn't clock it and I didn't expect it, but Minjin Lee doesn't shy away from, punishing her darlings. It is hard to see these things happening to this family you are following. You kind of want them to have a break at some point, but in reality, who does get a break? Yes, there are good things that happen to them, but there's just so many bad things that happen to them. And that's not unrealistic, because even now, a family of 4 generations, something horrible may have happened in that family. And especially in the setting that this book takes place, horrible things will happen to them. And that's not me putting you off this book. I think that's a reason to read this, because especially here in the West, and given the setting being Koreans and Korea/Japan over the 20th century, you kind of do need to understand it, because we're not taught that here. And it's hard and it's painful, and these people you love and you adore go through hardship, which sometimes it's a hardship some of us may experience now, and sometimes it's something that our great-grandparents' generation experienced. It's harsh. It is a harsh read, but I loved it. I loved it in the sense that it felt so deep. It made me feel and think about things in my life. It was so moving. It's the kind of book that I personally love. I say all of this because I don't want to spoil a single thing about this book. It is intense, it is harsh, it is powerful, and I genuinely think it's going to be a book I will reread in my lifetime, which, if you don't know, I don't really reread books. Very rarely have I done so except for academic purposes. I could probably name the number of books I've reread on one hand, because there are so many stories for me to experience, and that may be a good thing or a bad thing, but when it comes to Pachinko, I think it is one I'm going to read again and again in my life, which I'm going to cry every time, I know. So if you have read Pachinko yourself, comment down below what your thoughts and opinions are. Do try and not leave any spoilers. If I can, I'll leave a link to the book in the description down below as well. I hope you have a good day. I hope you're feeling emotionally robust, because I am not after reading this. And I hope you read a great book today.